I'm going to talk about gravity, but first I want to talk about the revelation of Christ, and I'm supposedly the Word and all. I wanted to tell everybody something, and I changed a couple of my views and opinions on that book. And if you've ever seen The Ninth Gate, you'll see why, but go ahead and watch the rest of my thesis, and then after that it'll get to gravity and something and nothing, and you won't believe it. Well, I mean that there's infinitely fast-moving particles bombarding everything and holding it down, but I want to talk about the other first. So, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. I think that the more studying I've done of everything about the Bible and the Revelation, the first part of Revelation is written by the devil. It's the devil's book. He only writes about America because it's the greatest nation, and he wants to kill everybody so he can get free. And so he told people the future, and that's what Christ meant by some man will come one day and tell you things that weren't even written since the beginning of time. I'm not taking sides with the devil, because without Satan, nobody here would sin. And so you should forgive everyone. And I know Jesus personally now, and I think that he'll save everyone. And on the new earth, when they're raised, they won't sin because the devil didn't trick them any. And the seven thunders uttered that, but it wasn't written yet. But really nobody needs to read the revelation of Christ, because there is a heaven and you're going to be in it one day no matter what. So that's all I know. It's just not open yet. But if you die, time doesn't exist. So really, if you die, you're there immediately, I think. That and the fact that let's go back to gravity again, because I thought about the moon and people saying it pulls, because they're like, well, if you're right and it's the opposite and it's pushing you on there, and then if you jump high enough, then you can finally leave the planet because there's enough nothing below you and above you, especially with the angle of the Earth looking at the horizon. The closer you are to it, the less angle there is and there's some of that whatever it is pushing you away from Earth at the same time. And plus the Earth and your body, even me right here, there's more nothing in me than there is something. In between your electrons and your neutrons and all, there's a whole lot of space that's in there. You just don't see it. The photons don't shine off of it. And the same thing with what nothing is. So I came up, and when the moon is there, if I'm right about nothing, you can check my other theses on YouTube about that and gravity and nothing and something. So since it's a push, they say the moon, it comes over the ocean and there's a swell. So if it's not pulling the water up towards the moon, what is it? It's because when the moon moves over, it doesn't see the nothing above it. I'm going to explain that in a minute, what the nothing is, though. It actually is something moving. But just look at the moon as it moves over, and the angle of nothing pushing against the water that's surrounding where the moon is above the water. So there's less push, so it appears that it's pulling towards the moon, the water, because there's less of this, I call it nothing, Jacob, or whatever you want to call it, because I'm Jacob, pushing down in the water around the moon. So then you come up with this, and you say, well then, is light the fastest moving thing? I don't know, son, but it seems like maybe there might be something smaller and faster that moves at infinite speeds, and it collides everywhere at once. And so it hits you and holds you down because it's pushing, and it hits against you. And that would make sense that these things hit the moon sometimes and bounce away, come back this way, and the water swells up towards it because it's not hitting as much, because the moon's blocking these from hitting the Earth and the water, and the gravity is, what I'm saying is gravity is pushing the Earth together. It's not holding it together by pulling. It's pushing. It's pushing, buddy, and I'm really funny. Get off my head. I hate the phone, don't you?